Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PoliticAL update with me, Alexandra Acker-Lyons. I pay attention to the political news so you don't have to. This is the advice I give my millionaire clients, and you get it for free. It is Friday, March 27th. Okay, announcements. I did a presentation this week where I talked about where to start with your political giving. A lot of people don't have a sense of what their budget should be, and this is more for folks who are able to give, a couple $1,000s or a lot more. My suggestion is that you start with 25% of your philanthropic budget, and if you don't have a philanthropic or a political budget, you should have one. This allows you to be proactive rather than reactive. Even if you're giving smaller amounts, you don't want to only be giving $25 in the heat of the moment when you see someone do something good. I do that too. That's okay. Just factor that into your overall budget. Our candidates rely much more heavily on grassroots donors, and so all of this adds up and matters. But I thought I would pass on that tip. Okay, a lot of candidate stuff going on. First of all, Emily Gregory flipped the Florida House seat that includes Mar-a-Lago by 2.4 points. It was a 13.4 point swing from 2024. This is completely in line with other special elections that have happened since 2024. So we're including 2025, where Democrats have been winning by a margin of about 12 points. In many cases, these seats have been swinging 15 to 20 points, right? So if we're kind of looking at those numbers, which is an electorate that is more favorable to us, a special election is a smaller electorate than even an off year. And if we're saying the generic ballot is somewhere around 7 points, I've been kind of looking at all those things together and saying, okay, what if we're in a world where House races that are a 10-point swing are suddenly in play? I have been really focusing on lean and likely Republican swing districts over the last couple of months. Those 17 current toss-up races as rated by the Cook Political Report, sometimes the ratings people are slightly different. Sometimes someone has it at a lean, someone has a likely. I track all of them. But if we're looking at Cook, there are 17 current House toss-ups. There are another 14 that are in the lean or likely Republican category, and that includes kind of up to an R+3 district. If you look beyond that, there's another 17 that are in the R+4 to R+6 district. R+7 PVI, it's called, column. And then there are 86 races that are in the R+6 to R+12 category. That is just a gigantic number. I've been kind of saying all along this cycle, the map is narrower. In 2018, Democrats won 40 seats, and I was like, we're not even going to have 40 seats that are in play. I still believe that. I still don't think we're going to get to a 40-seat wave this cycle. But, 17 plus 14 is 31, plus 17 is 38. We're getting close with just going to R+7. And then even if we get 5% of those 86, then we're starting to get into some very serious wave territory. One thing worth noting, all of the Senate seats that are in play this cycle that are lean and likely Republican, that includes Florida, Texas, are underneath that R+10. So yeah, data crunching, giving me hope. Also want to highlight that we have upcoming Supreme Court races in Wisconsin, where this is to expand the progressive majority on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. That is coming up in April, and then 2 in Georgia in May. And we currently have an entirely conservative court in Georgia. This would be huge, would get us on track to helping to flip some of these state Supreme Courts. And these races are incredibly important for a whole host of reasons. But heading into the 2028 presidential election and heading into 2030 redistricting, these state Supreme Courts are going to have a whole lot to say about who we elect, how we cast ballots, how those ballots are counted. So I will put links to give to all of those in the show notes. Also want to just say a note about the California governor's race. The California Democratic Party put out a poll this week that again showed 2 Republicans in the top 2 positions. California has what's called a jungle primary or a top 2 primary, where the top 2 vote getters, regardless of party, move on to the general election. There are several Democrats that are polling at like 1, 2, 3%. This is an early June primary, so there is still time for Democrats to consolidate around the candidates that are polling in the double digits. And the top 3 are consistently Tom Steyer, Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter. The order varies a little bit. The 2 Republicans are still only getting 30 to 32% of the vote, and the cap in California for Republicans is like 38 to 40%. So it's not like freak out time yet. I would say we have another month before we have to freak out. But there was controversy this week because USC was going to hold a debate, and none of the candidates of color under their prearranged debate criteria qualified. And so candidates wound up boycotting. They ultimately canceled the debate. I do think we need to think about either you have everyone, or you do have a more narrow selection criteria for these debates going forward. And I know that these lower polling folks are counting on kind of having a breakout debate moment that propels them to victory. But none of them have any money. And so, maybe we need to have a couple of debates in the next few weeks that everyone can participate in, see what happens. And then we're going to, need some of our leaders to start making some tough calls. They also talked about this on Pod Save America this morning, and I generally agree with what they said. I do think we have a little bit more time, and we don't need to freak out yet. Okay, other political news. No Kings protests coming up tomorrow. My family will be there. Abraham will be wearing his Portland Frog costume once again. He's very excited. We are all supposed to wear black in solidarity. So please show up. It really does matter. And then one final thing, Oath.vote, which is a giving platform that I really love their team, has a way to help cut down on the incoming political spam. Both emails and texts, where you can kind of go into the vendors and say, don't sell my information. A little unclear if this is true for everyone or just people who live in California, where they have passed some good laws, but it is worth trying. I will put that in the link notes, and the spammy texts and the spammy emails have just got to stop. They are out of control and ridiculous. And then while you're there, give a look out to all the other wonderful things that Oath has going on their site. And once again, my shout out of the week is going to these unpaid TSA workers. Congresswoman Brittany Pedersen, who is from Colorado and is a good friend and is wonderful, has a bill to pay TSA workers even during a government shutdown. I have a friend who's a TSA worker who, we see this firsthand with what they go through every time this happens. Donald Trump has declared that he's going to pay them. But I really hope that Congress can make a deal. The Senate passed a bill last night. Now it goes to the House. On the one hand, we're giving away some of our leverage in terms of cutting a nice deal. On the other hand, we were probably never going to get a nice deal anyway. So these federal workers are so hurt by the nonsense happening in our Congress, and it's time we get them paid. All right. Hope to see everyone at No Kings. Have a great weekend. Bye.